Hello, and welcome to our second week of Reading 100. This will be our first screencast, so I hope that you're having a great week. All right, I have my little portable AC on in my office in the background, so hopefully that's not too loud and obnoxious for you. Good times, right? Living on the sun. I think we're kind of past it. I think once September hits, it won't be as bad. And then I think we all know, those of us who have been here for many, many years or natives, it's just remarkable how it turns October and all of a sudden it's literally overnight. The temps cool. It feels great in the morning. In the evening, it's nice again. So probably the best time of the year. All right, let's get to it then. Making predictions and previewing. A lot of what you are going to gain in this class is truly remarkable, and you will be able to use it not only in the rest of your college career, but in your professional life as well. And that is what is so super fantastic. Some of the techniques you will not like, they will not work for you. I've had students absolutely blown away by certain techniques, and that gets me so excited and really happy and just my heart pumping, and just to know that this is working. But then I've had students be brutally honest, and they've said, Leisha, not going to use this. I had one student who was absolutely not going to do something, and I'll let you know again when we get there to that particular technique. Said, I hate this is so stupid, no way. And then we actually did it, did some activities, and then I talked to him later and he said, yeah, I can see how that would save you a lot of time, and I might actually use it. And I think that was so difficult for him, being a 20 something and admitting that to me. So I was really proud, first of all, that he could tell me the truth. But then I had another student with this same particular technique. Again, not what we're learning today. I said, so what do you think? Nope, never. Okay, then that's your prerogative. So some of these, you'll think this is so stupid, I'm never going to use it. And then other ones, they will click with you and it will get you through your college career. And also why we learn these techniques is to hopefully let it be so you rarely have to read. Every once in a while, there's going to be new vocabulary or new terminology that, yeah, certainly you're going to have to sit down and read a few paragraphs or maybe even a couple pages. But for the most part, using everything we learn in here, you really should not have to read word for word. And certainly when it's a class that you really don't want to be in and you don't like and you just have to take, which I'm sure this is one of them, but at least you'll walk away with great techniques where you can seriously get through things so much quicker, because we have a lot of professors, and you'll see this, and I had this when I was an undergraduate student as well, who think your major is biology because you're in their biology class, or your major is English. Everybody should know how to write. Everybody should know how to categorize, right? And what species goes where. And they give you 40 pages a night. And you're thinking, I have 3 other classes plus a job and friends or family to go see or support, or how am I supposed to read 40 pages? So using these techniques, you won't have to. So you can say, bring it, prof, bring it, because no way am I reading your 40 pages. I don't have to. I know what I need to look for. So the way to start is by making predictions and previewing. All right, what's going to happen next? Or what am I even reading at all? So first of all, why we preview is to just familiarize yourself with the subject, with the way the reading is organized. So it could be that you think, oh man, I don't know anything about this, something new, I don't have the time. And then you start to be really negative and it just consumes you and your mind gets cloudy and you become overwhelmed and you haven't even looked at what it is. Could be that one day when you were dozing off on the couch and the Discovery Channel came on, that information stuck with you about those crazy little monkeys in the jungle. And all of a sudden, oh my God, I saw this. It was a documentary and they talked about how the monkeys did this with each other and they went here and this is how they, oh my gosh, I can't believe I even remember that. Or it could be something that you learned back in 4th grade that you just had forgotten. And as soon as you preview, something in your brain just clicks, because the capacity that we have as humans to recall information or where we stored it is just unfathomable. It is amazing what potential we truly have and what our brains are capable of. So even though you might think you've never read it, or you might think, oh, I know all of this, and you get a little bit cocky, right? And then you go into it and you find out, oh, I guess I don't. Or maybe it's you thought it was something else very similar. So that is why it is so important and best to preview. Like it says on this second tab, get a sneak preview. So we have how to preview, and this will be in your textbooks as well. So you don't necessarily have to have my PowerPoint up when you're going over things today and in the future, because we do, and you'll see those pages upcoming. So here we have how to preview. First, of course, with anything in any situation, whether it be a textbook, whether it be a novel, whether it be an article, a periodical, an editorial, whatever it might be, an online blog, whether it be old-fashioned newspaper, whatever it is, read the title, people. Read the title. Please read the title. That might seem super obvious, but how many of us have said, oh, I kind of skipped over that and just went somewhere else? And I've even done it. I'm a hypocrite. What can I say? But read that title. Is there an introduction? Read the very first paragraph. That can kind of give you, just like when you're writing that research paper, the thesis statement. What can I look forward to? What am I going to read? What am I going to see here in this article, in this text, and so forth? Then you get into what you probably do, which is checking for the boldface print. Anything, and generally boldface is going to be that ever important new vocabulary, maybe an entire sentence that is super special. Are there graphic aids? Are there pictures, charts? What is there that you can visualize? Then look at the summary. A lot of times you will have midpoint summaries halfway through the chapter, which is phenomenal. A lot of more modern textbooks, our books has these. They have them in every chapter, and they have them in midpoint as well. Then they have them at the end. So also you can look at the end of chapter questions, or are there midpoint questions? All things to preview. So let's go ahead and try. Like I said, you would have this opportunity. So if you wouldn't mind turning to pages 40 and 41 in your text, go ahead and just review what it says there, and then just consider everything that we've talked about thus far. This is just for you to absorb it, for you to now see it on your own again. The more we see things, the better we do, right? A lot of us, I'm going to say probably 85% of us, 75 to 85% of us are visual learners. But then there are some of us who are that small percentage that are auditory. But then again, a lot of us who are visual, we're also kinesthetic. So anytime we can see, do, and touch it ourselves, we excel that much better. So what you're going to do then is preview the 2 pages. Complete exercise 1-5. It's on page 41. Again, just review it. Take a time. You can pause this or even stop it and do that and then resume again. Go ahead and consider what you're reading here, what you've already heard from me and seen in this PowerPoint. The next time you have something to read, it can even be for this class, but try it with another and see how well you do. I use the terminology SME, the acronym SME. You'll hear it again if you take my 101 class, my CRE 101. A lot of you will have to have that. You don't have to have me. Hopefully we're going to get back on campus. If so, I'm generally at Red Mountain. I am sometimes in the spring and then the summer at main campus. But this word SME simply means subject matter expert. All right. This I'm not going to review with you because you are listening right now. So I want to go ahead, and so I like to have fun with my PowerPoint. Sometimes I put in sound, little crazy pop-ups, because I want it to be stimulating. This one might seem a little juvenile, but I was just having fun with it. So I kind of found some slides and I thought, why not? So this is not to be taken as this is how I view you, but it's me. I'm sorry, this is still my class. I have some autonomy, so I like to have fun, make things big, bold, bright. Like I said, sometimes I'll bring in sound and just crazy things to make it more stimulating. That's all. All right, so we're moving on. We have previewing, and generally with that, we have predicting. They go hand in hand. They're 2 peas in a pod, if you will. So once you've previewed, then you got to kind of think, what's going to happen? That overall effect of that ta-da moment, if you will, making predictions. How well do you predict? If you are going through this with me, I really don't want you to cheat. Don't go ahead and look. If you have it up or pull it up smaller, you'll be able to see. So don't do that. I want you to just think right now and then say it aloud and then see how well you do. How many slides do you think we will have? And I'm counting just from now, not the previous slides. From this slide to the end, how many do you think there will be? It's just a fun little prediction. And then 3 words that will be mentioned in this presentation. How many do you think? Okay, do that and we'll go ahead. So really, what are predictions? So I know there's no way you could get away with inserting a quote from 1990 anymore, right? It has to be, most professors are going to say within the last 3 years if possible, 3 to 5, maybe if it's a great source and there's no updates, you can get away with it being a decade old. But other than that, absolutely not. But this is by far, out of all the definitions I've ever found, it's just my favorite. I don't think I'll ever change. Predictions are the connecting links between prior knowledge and new information. That is the essential key. And then why I love it, like the picture, much like the sparks firing before the bright flame ignites. That's just truly what it is. It's, again, I told you when we began this, how incredible it is when you think, oh, and you're so devastated, I don't know what, but when that prior knowledge from your brain clicks, oh my gosh, I do know, I actually do remember, I did study this. All right. Here we go. Let's go ahead and try some predicting of our own. The weather forecast for rain. Which sentence best tells what would happen next? Go ahead and you're just going to do this with me in your head on your own. Winston will take an umbrella to school. Winston will leave his umbrella at home. Again, may seem super juvenile, but we need to get in the habit. Let's just do it for the sake of us getting in the habit, helping us so we don't have to read the 40 pages that professors assigned us because he thinks or she thinks that we are the only subject being studied, right? All right, so use your prior knowledge of the text to set up expectations of what will happen or what information will be contained. Use your knowledge to build on your vocabulary. Organization, super important, both of which we're going to be studying going over the entire semester. So why learn the strategy of predicting? Besides what I've already told you to help you cut down on the pages you have to read or what you have to absorb or take in, understanding increases and it helps you become more interested. So you don't have to sit there and read that same sentence over and over and over. Using background knowledge really helps you apply that knowledge. It helps us anticipate logical guess issues. Helps you access your knowledge that you thought was lost or not there at all. And it really does set a purpose for reading. Anything we can do, because I know it's not maybe for some of you a favorite pastime. So anything we can do to set a positive tone so we can get through it, the better. So why do you struggle in the first place? It's, again, it might be that you don't like the subject matter. Maybe you think you don't know anything about the topic, so how could you become interested in it? Or you don't form images as you read. So again, just telling you and explaining how prediction helps you. Here is our daily check-in. You can find this under our daily check-ins, and the assignment is entitled Football Prediction. So there will be the same instructions within the actual assignment when you pull it up. You're just going to read the story and then you will make 2 different predictions that could happen, but you need to explain why. You can't simply say, oh, here's what I believe is going to happen. You do, in fact, have to tell me the why. Why do you believe this is your prediction? What about this story made you believe that? Okay. And then that's my own. All right. Here we go. Again, how does it help? Same thing we've been talking about from the beginning. I put this in here over and over and over because it is that important. It is that essential. I like the fish. I just thought that was clever. You've heard this, I'm sure. many times, especially within the English and humanities, that emotional hook, it's definitely applies